I often receive a question, which is what happens to consciousness in deep sleep? It seems that consciousness disappears in deep sleep and so cannot be the fundamental reality of existence because it disappears. The suggestion is by these questioners that consciousness disappears in deep sleep. And I say questioners because it's the mind that's objecting and claiming that consciousness disappears. From consciousness's perspective, it cannot be conscious of the disappearance of itself. If I were to ask you, could you be conscious of the disappearance of consciousness? If you say yes, that would mean that you, consciousness, would be present after the disappearance of consciousness to claim that consciousness has disappeared. For instance, we could suggest that consciousness is this hand in a metaphorical landscape. Consciousness is this hand. So to verify that this hand has disappeared, we would need to experience or be conscious of the hand. And then conscious of the hand vacating consciousness and disappearing. So we would need to be present after the hand has disappeared to verify, wow, it's disappeared, through the whole process of the transition as it disappears. So remember that this hand signifies consciousness. So once this hand has disappeared, what is there to verify that the hand is gone? Consciousness. Consciousness is the only one that verifies or observes the fact that something has disappeared. So can consciousness verify or observe the absence of itself? It would need to be present in the absence of itself. So just like with this hand analogy, this hand is representing consciousness in the minds of people that claim that consciousness disappears. Of course, the concept of consciousness, the thought of consciousness, does disappear from consciousness and leaves consciousness remaining. So what happens in deep sleep is that the idea of consciousness disappears. And all the objects of perception, the sensations, the visual perceptions that the idea of consciousness has been identified with also disappear. But what remains is that which cannot disappear, which is consciousness. So consciousness is present to witness the disappearance of the mind, the body, and the cosmos, the thoughts, the sensations, and the perceptions. It witnesses the appearance, the transition, and the disappearance, and remains. And we know this from our experience, and we intuit this when we say, I woke up this morning. So I woke up this morning. Usually we identify that I with the body and the mind. The body and the mind woke up this morning because the body and the mind do reappear in the morning. But to say I woke up this morning, which means the body and the mind woke up this morning, we, as consciousness, would be present prior to that waking up of the body and the mind to confirm that the appearance of the body and mind has occurred. That waking up where the first thoughts and sensations and perceptions appear takes place. So we consciousness are present before the morning begins. There is no time there between the disappearance of the last thought, sensation, perception at night, or the last dreamscape at night, and the reappearance of a new dreamscape or the waking state. And that's why we all experience deep sleep as lasting no time. There is no time intrinsic to consciousness. Consciousness is not in time. The waking state and the dream state appear as temporal events within the timelessness of consciousness. So what happens in what we call deep sleep, it's not a state, really. It's when the waking state and the dream state disappear and leave the timelessness of consciousness remaining as the only reality present. So, as an experiment, when you wake up in the morning, when the mind and the body and the cosmos appear in the morning after sleep, I say sleep because consciousness is not sleeping, see that consciousness was already present. Be very careful in observing what happens as the first thoughts, sensations, perceptions arise in the morning. Are you already present to be conscious of them? Don't take my word for it. Be intimate with that experience. Is consciousness already present to witness that beginning of the waking state? And ponder the question, could consciousness be conscious of the disappearance of itself? Or the absence of itself?